Hey, it's Marilyn Devonish from transformationstm.com. And number one, I just want to check that you can hear me okay, because I'm having to use a different microphone today. So I want to be sure that is working and that it's all up and running. So if you can just type yes if you can hear me, that would be absolutely fantastic. And then I know that we're ready to rock and roll. And I know there's a little bit of a time delay, so I'm going to actually grab some water. So type yes if you can hear me. And if you can, we will get started. And if you can't, we'll have to go to whatever plan C would be. So I'm just going to give it a minute and just see. And let's say, yep, good, wonderful, thank you, thank you, thank you. So today I've just taken delivery of the new Money Oracle cards. Very excited about that. So in terms of the cards themselves, very different to the original cards. So the coaching cards that you can see are on the left. The Money Oracle cards are on the right, and it's a way bigger stack. I mean, I haven't counted, there's probably about 75, 80 cards in the new deck. Because obviously once I got going with it, the ideas just kept flowing. And so I just thought, you know what, I'm going to go with it. I'm going to just put in what I feel I want to put in, and then we'll see how it all stacks up, quite literally. And that is how it stacked up. So massively different to the first deck. So this is the coaching cards deck. This is the new, they arrived this morning, Money Oracle cards deck. And if I just hold them next to each other, you'll see there's actually quite a big difference in terms of the two. So what I'm going to be doing today is doing some readings with the new deck. I know, okay, it is, wow, they're massive. So this is them in terms of the stack of cards. So that's what they look like on the back. They're all, you know, full color, all completely different in terms of what we've got. So I'm just going to take out what I call the holding cards. We've got a card which is just kind of my suggestions in terms of how you might want to use the deck. And then we've got a couple of cards at the back, which is just further info. And if you wanted to take things further, so for example, if you wanted to do the, so that's the holding card at the back. If you wanted to take things further, take part in the Money Breakthrough program, do the Raising Your Money Vibration 10-part video webinar series, that's all in there as well. So I'm going to give them a shuffle. And I'm using my super sensitive microphone today, so I'm going to have to apologize if every little movement sounds like, you know, the giant from Jack and the Beanstalk. And when I'm doing them on the table, I put a towel down so that when I do the tap, 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 it won't be as loud. So this is the first time I did a quick reading for myself this morning just to give them a test run, but this will be the first time I'm using them with clients. So I'm just going to give them a good old shuffle, move the deck around, put a bit of energy into them, and then we're going to get started. And the exercises here are from a variety of places. So I've included exercises from the 28-day Money Breakthrough e-coaching program. So that's a program where you get a different money breakthrough exercise every day for 28 days via email or via the online portal. There are also exercises from the new Raising Your Money Vibration video webinar program that I'm running at the moment. We're in module number 2 of 10. So that is a current program that's running, and also from the coaching sessions that I've been doing for the past 18.5 years, and have included some of the processes that I've used with clients where you maybe heard me share some of those stories about clients who've been struggling to make 10 or 15K a month, which does sound like a lot until your outgoings are 20K. And within a month, you know, they're making 100K a month, which is just wonderful. And I've included a bit of the process for one of the clients you may have also heard me talk about, who we did a future life progression session. And during that session, her future self gave her an idea, and she made 3 figures that weekend. So that's really cool. So those are all in there as well, plus other things that intuitively presented themselves while I was in the design mode. So that's kind of what's included here. Let me bring up full camera so that you can get a really good look at the cards when we do it. So right, I've given them a good old shuffle. Well, Kay, I posted them all today. And I don't think that the post goes on a Saturday per se. So they're going to move into the system on Monday, and they should be with you, I'd say, between Tuesday and Thursday, depending upon how Royal Mail is doing. But definitely by this time next week, you will have your own deck in your hot little hands. So here we go. So the first reading is for Kay. And I'll do these the same way that I do Tarot Tuesday, because every month in my Facebook membership group, I do tarot readings for whoever would like a tarot reading. We do it via Facebook Live. And so I'm going to do it in exactly the same way, which I'm kind of thinking about the person that I'm reading for, shuffling the deck as I think about them. And then the way I choose the cards facing away from me. So I just see the back, which looks exactly the same. I will choose the cards facing away from me for that particular person. So I'm going to do exactly the same. All right, so that one immediately grabs my attention, whatever that is. Let's put that there. And I think I'm going to have the third from the top as well. Don't know why, but we'll do that. 1, 2, number 3. So I'm going to also have the third from the top. Alrighty, so first card. Oh, okay. So let me just show you that. Put that there so you can get a look. So first card for Kay is reconnect. It says, if you've been feeling overwhelmed, take a deep breath in and exhale to clear your mind and neurology. Take time out to reconnect with yourself and gain clarity. And so this one is, the word that comes to mind with this one is discombobulated. I don't know why, I really like that word at the moment, but that's the word that comes to mind. If you've been feeling, you know, some of the sayings that come into my head as I'm thinking about this, you know, people say, oh, you're all at 6s and 7s. You're all fingers, thumbs and elbows, where it's almost like you're running in order just to stand still. And it's almost like sometimes, you know, with something, it just feels like nothing's going right. And things should be lined up, everything should be stacked, all of the ducks should be in a row, and for whatever reason things have just been happening out of sequence, not the way you wanted. Collapsing might be a bit of a strong word, but that's almost the way it feels. It's almost like your plans fall by the wayside, or they fall at the last hurdle, or they don't quite come to fruition. And so it almost feels as though you are disconnected from what we might call the flow of life. And the flow, you know, people talk about the law of attraction and all that sort of stuff. I talk about synchronicity. It feels like you feel as though you've been out of the flow of all of that. And so this is the one to take a bit of time out, just to get yourself grounded, to get yourself centered, to get things back into perspective in terms of, okay, what is the next step, and not going from a place, you know, when they talk about out of the frying pan into the fire, and knee-jerk reactions. God, this sounds like a whole load of platitudes, but it's that sort of energy. And what you don't want to do is come from that kind of energy. You want to come from a place that is much more centered. And so whatever your version of reconnection is, it feels like this would be a really, really good time to do that. Oh my gosh. Okay, so Kay says, oh my God, perfect. Oh yeah, remember I was burgled 2 weeks ago and I'm seriously overwhelmed. Oh wow. Well, well, you've seen the second card. I haven't seen it yet. So let me see what the second card is. Okay, so let me hold that one up, because I might have just flashed it when I was choosing them. So let me just hold that there for a moment. So this is kind of one of the coaching question cards. What new money habit, if you were to adopt it now, would make a massive positive difference to your life and finances? So what I can hear in my head now is another platitude. If you always do what you've always done, you always get what you've always got. This is one that is saying, maybe it's also time, while you're having a little bit of time to deal with the overwhelm and that sense of things not going to plan, the unexpected happening, and not necessarily in a good way, this might also be a good time to look at, okay, what am I doing with regards to money, finances, responsibilities? And if there were one new habit that would make a positive difference, and I often say, if this was a coaching session, for example, I'd be saying, what's the first thing that comes to mind when you think of what is one new habit? If you were to adopt it now, would make a positive difference both to your life and to your finances. And whatever it is that, and you don't have to go with the first thing that comes to mind, but just pay attention to that and notice the thoughts, the ideas, the aha moments that come over the next few hours, days, even the next few weeks, and just see what comes to mind with regards to that. No way, Kay, get out of town. So Kay has just said, I was only looking at a new habit tracker this morning. Are you kidding me? Jeez. Okay. Well, that is very cool. So yes, with the habit tracker, that would be a really good one, because of course, when you see what they are, because often, I mean, that's the thing about a habit, you often don't even know what they are. So once you've seen what they are, you can either go, okay, what's in, what's out, what are we shaking all about? And if there was a new positive ones to put into the mix, what would it be? So that's brilliant, absolutely perfect. I'm just going to write down what we had, and so later on I will post pictures of these as well, so you can have a look see for yourself. All right, so reconnect and new habits. Well, Kay, thank you so much for being here, and I'm really glad that resonates. And Kay says, and Nick Haynes was saying in his Year of the Pig webinar that habits are key this year. Oh my goodness. Oh, that is absolutely brilliant. Woohoo. And you're not going to believe this, Kay. Last night, because obviously it was my birthday yesterday, last night I sat down and I wrote some new life resolutions. And what I was doing for the first half a dozen or so is making commitments to myself about what positive habits I'm going to adopt, what things I'm going to commit to doing, and also looking at, okay, well, that's not, and then flipping it and saying, okay, what's the new thing that goes into the new life resolution? So I hadn't seen the stuff that Nick was doing, but that's exactly what I was doing last night as well. Did it just before we kind of hit up to midnight. So that is very cool. Oh, wow, that's awesome. Woo-hoo-hoo. Well, I would say, you know, first one out the gate, we're happy with that so far. Next, I'm going to be reading for Loza. So, and for those of you who are catching this up as a replay, feel free to send me a message, email me with kind of your thoughts about how your reading resonated with you. That would be really useful to know once you've kind of watched this. All right, so Loza. I don't know why, top or bottom. We're going 15 from the top. Oh, great. At least it's not over like number 80, although I'd count backwards from the bottom, wouldn't I? So 15 from the top for Loza. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we're going to go, that's number 15, whatever that one is. So we're going to go with that. Actually, what we're going to do first is that. Alrighty. Ooh, here we go. So let me show you that first so you can have a look-see before I do a little bit of a breakdown. So this card is called New Horizons. Let's do the same as we do for Tarot Tuesday to keep myself organized. New Horizons. So it says, get a new perspective, listen to your intuition, take time out for reflection if your current approach is no longer working for you, and also embrace new opportunities. So Kay, if you're still here, that sounds a little bit like the habits thing as well. All of the cards clearly don't say the same thing. They're all completely different. So the whole thing, let me just look at the picture on this one as well. This one, because when you look at it yourself, let me hold it up just so you can see what I'm talking about. One of the first things that grabs me is the hot air balloon. Now, the hot air balloon is often something that people do when they're having a bit of a treat, or they do when they're doing something a little bit different. It's not your well, it depends where you live and what you do, but it's not your everyday thing to be up in a hot air balloon. So the first thing that strikes me is the whole thing about saying yes to new opportunities, and also maybe going outside of your comfort zone. If there's something, let's just say, for example, someone might be saying, oh my gosh, in my business, what do I need to do? I really should do more networking. I really should do more going out to meetings, meeting people, one-to-one meetings, making calls, whatever it might be. And that might be outside of their comfort zone. And so this is going to be something where when you've had the idea, you've speculated and thought that it might be a good idea, and we feel like we're talking more about finances and business at the moment. You've had a good idea, you've had an idea of a way you could improve something, you haven't done it yet, you haven't taken the step to do it, and it may involve doing something new. It may involve you looking at things differently, and it may involve you pushing. When I say pushing, I don't mean in a horrible way, but for example, there could be days I've been working at home where I'm all cozy, I'm in my house PJs, and I go, oh, it's ballet tonight, I'm just not in the mood, and there are a million and one reasons why I could talk myself into staying here. And so it's, you give yourself that little nudge and go, okay, in this case, would it be good for your mind and your body? Yes, it would. Get yourself out the door. In your case, it feels like, would it be good for your business? Would it be good for where you're heading? Would it be good for what you're wanting to create? And if the answer to that is yes, you give yourself a little nudge out the front door or out of your comfort zone to do whatever it is that needs to be done. And also maybe an opportunity will come up to be in a different place or space, to maybe even you might be asked to present something, for example, in an environment or for a group of people that you maybe wouldn't normally be speaking to. And so it's an opportunity to use a bit of creativity. But it's when it feels as though something is a good idea, this is a really good time to say yes to those opportunities and broaden your horizons and expand what you're doing. So that'll be that one. So new horizons for Loza. We then got D. So let's give these a bit of a shuffle. Right, so what have we got for D? I think we're going to go sort of to the middle of the deck. And I like, so if I can see the one I want, but can I get it? Right, I want that one, whatever that one is. It's the same one again, New Horizons. And I have just shuffled these. All right, so let's see if it looks any different to what I've just pulled. Let's have a look, see. And maybe you're tuning in a bit later, you didn't see what I showed before, so let me show you that one again. New Horizons. Okay, so for D, a question comes to mind for you. The question is, have you had a yearning to see more of the world? And that is normally associated with when you're getting married, something old, something new, something borrowed, something blue. The thing I'm going to say about this one, in terms of seeing the world, it feels as though you've seen quite a lot in the time that you've been on this planet. And there might have been, I think the word I want to use is wanderlust. There's been something that has been calling for your attention. There's been some, okay, now this, it's almost as though it's not necessarily just wanderlust in terms of wanting to travel, like see the 7 wonders of the world, yada, 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 which is fantastic. This one almost feels as though, because as soon as I said the wanderlust, and the voice kind of almost says, and it pulls it straight to the intuition piece, and it almost is talking about being called to do something. It's like there's a new idea, a new product, a new service. You've been mulling it over, you've been cogitating on it, let's put it that way. And maybe I was going to say you haven't been sure. It's like you have been sure, but for some reason you haven't been sure. I know, you know, when you're sort of going, oh, but there's this and there's that. And people talk about crossing the T's and dotting the I's. It almost feels as though you've taken that a little bit too far, and you've been talking yourself out of the idea and under the guise and the illusion that you've got get everything sorted, you've got to do this first, and you've got to do that first, and you've got to plan for this, and you've got to figure this out, and blah, 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 and you could be just on a highway to nothing and actually not get anything done. And this one feels as though saying, look, if your intuition has been talking about a particular idea, a particular direction, and you branch to what you're doing, listen to your intuition and take the next step. And the next step probably isn't writing out and mapping out another plan and thinking about this idea and that idea. The next step is probably going to be more practical than that. Okay, so we now move into the realm of, it is time to bring something new into the world. And when I say new, it doesn't mean you have to go back to a drawing board. This almost feels as though like you've got this thing here, and you've got this thing here, and you've got this thing here, and then you got that thing over there, for even from back in the day. And the energy of this feels as though it might be bringing 2 or 3 of those, some or all of those together to create the thing that now comes into the world. So for example, for me to, when I first created the coaching cards, the coaching cards were created from blank screen and blank piece of paper to finished deck in a day and a half. And they're completely new. However, it was an amalgamation of the things I've been doing at that point for the past 18 and a half years in my coaching practice. So although I had to create every single card from scratch, come up with the words, come up with the design, what image did I want, what's going to convey what I'm saying, it wasn't completely new, because like these are the concepts and the thoughts and the ideas and the premises that clients have been saying to me for the past 18 years. Oh my God, Marilyn, if you could bottle this, or if I could carry it around in my pocket, it would be amazing. And so I was just saying, okay, what are the things that really resonate with my clients? Let me put them down on paper. So it's almost as though you don't have to go and recreate from scratch. What's going to be happening here is that, and the word is, I can always hear the words like finally, like, oh God, at last. But if we're like finally, you're bringing, and I don't know why, between 2 and 4 aspects together. And then this is going to be the thing that moves your business forwards and brings it into a new direction, or opens it up to a new market. Brings something to the market, your market, that is new and that possibly people haven't seen before. Maybe they haven't seen that combination. So that's what I would say about that one for D. So let me know when you watch the recording. I know you're out and about today. Let me know how that resonates. Right, so I'm going to definitely give these a mega shuffle. All right. Da, da, da. Next, we've got S. Seriously, I always say to people when I do like I haven't done them for a while, when I do the Angel Tarot and Huna big clearing calls, I'd always say to people, remember the nickname you chose, because I sometimes get messages people saying, I listened to the replay recording or the MP3, you didn't do a reading for me. And I say, yes, I did. And they say, no, you didn't. And I say, you were reading number X. And they'll go, oh yeah, because they haven't remembered their nickname. So, but I have written down clearly your proper name next to these as well. So this is for S. So let's see what we've got. Give them a good old workaround. Got to get a bit of air between them because some of them are a little bit close together as well. They came from the printers yesterday and were delivered to me today. So, oh, Lindsay, I think that's for you. Kay has just posted a link for the habit tracker. And what I will do later also is I'll post a link if you wanted to purchase a deck for yourself. I will put a link in. One of the links is www.bit.ly/money breakthrough cards. I say one of the links because it's on the Money Vibration .eventbrite page as well. Alrighty, so this is for S, isn't it? I'm going to go with that one. And I think whatever's at the bottom as well. Let's see what one. First one. Ooh. Oh my God, I already know this is true because we had this conversation. And I think when I was playing with the virtual deck, or it might have been Tarot Tuesday. Do you know what? I think it was either the virtual deck or Tarot Tuesday, and I did a reading for you, which was talking about going back, looking at your bills, seeing what you're paying, speaking to some of your service providers, and you messaged me and said, that's exactly what I was doing last weekend. And I've called the telecoms company and I've called this company. I've got this company on the list. And so this one is back as a reminder. So that is really, really interesting. All right. So let me just show you guys the card. I've flashed it before. So. Alrighty, so money stock take. So this one says, take stock of where you are with money and finances. What's in ? What's out ? What's up for review ? And where can you make improvements or changes? So this one is sitting down, and the way I would put this is, I would say, becoming conscious of, because it's so easy. I remember a friend and I, Suki and I, we were running the Millionaire Mentor Days at his lovely mansion in the kind of north of England, and we had somebody on that training, because we said to people, we weren't showing your bills to anyone, but we said to everyone, bring your current bills. If they're in paper format, bring the envelopes, bring the bills. If it's online, make sure you know all your login details. And one of the guys on the training made a £10,000 saving just by looking at every single entry. And a couple of things, he went, what's this? What's that for? I don't need to be paying that. And by the time he'd sat and he'd worked it all out, he'd saved himself £10,000 right off the bat. Now, not everybody's outgoings are as big as that. However, we had a saying, we still have a supermarket called Tesco. I believe they're celebrating 100 years this month. Congratulations, Tesco's. And one of their sayings was, every little helps. And managing, look after the pennies and the pounds look after themselves. We're into that kind of territory where when you start getting conscious about what's going on, what's coming in, what's going out, where there may be leakages and blockages, because it's going to be a little bit of both, I think. And possibly even, you're on a package, for example. My brain is like, note to self, Marilyn, you need to phone Sky and check the packages that you're on. But you're on a package, for example. I remember years ago when I did phone Sky about something, it turns out I was paying for the sports channel. I've never watched the darn sports channel in my life. But then I remembered why I got the sports channel, because a partner I had when I first moved in, he loved sports, football in particular. Good luck Watford today in the FA Cup. So I got the sports channel for him. And then when we were no longer together and he was watching his own TV, I didn't even think to go, I just completely forgot about it. And so I've been paying for about 3 years for this sports channel. It's that sort of thing. It's like, what's lying dormant? What's lying latent? What are in the corners? What are in the cracks? What are the things that are cobwebbed, or that are just going out, or even things that you're doing, just making a tiny little change? Now, I don't drink coffee, I don't drink tea. However, I know there's different sizes, like grande this and whatever. And sometimes even just making a little shift and going, rather than getting the super whopper, I'm going to get the next size down. And don't just get the next size down and forget all about it. Look at the price differential between those two. I'm not using that as a random example, because that's something that definitely comes in different sizes. I think I recall 3 different sizes of cups in Starbucks, for example, and Costas, etc. But don't just do that. Take the money that's the difference between the one you always get and the next one down you're going to get, and put that money into a jar, a bottle. Probably not, if we're just talking a couple of pounds, cents, euros, dollars, you're probably not going to go and put it straight into your bank account, but you could. But you might just want to start accumulating it, because the reason I say that is, when people make these kinds of changes, if you don't make, we're back to the word conscious again, if you don't make a conscious decision to move that money somewhere else, it just gets reabsorbed and you actually don't notice the benefits. So that's why I'm kind of laboring the point, is when you do make some changes, when you do make some savings, move those savings off into a different direction. Right, so let me just show you the next card. Money desires. So what it says on this one, actually what it will say after I've done that. What it says on this one is, what do you desire when it comes to money, wealth, and abundance? ? Create an I am statement which stretches and excites you and feels doable. Start formulating a definite plan to get there. The idea of the definite plan, when a couple of years ago, I took a group through the Wallace D. Wattles book, which is just a fabulous, Bob Proctor calls it the Little Green Book, and he talks about definite plans, as does Napoleon Hill as well. And so that's where that kind of last little line is a nod to that energy and that kind of dynamic. So the reason when I say about the I am statement, I say it stretches and excites you and feels doable. there are times where people will often, and I've been in rooms where you go, yeah, we're going to make £1 million by the end of the day. It's all very good to say it in that environment, but if your brain is like, well, dude, you haven't even made 1,000 or even 100 yet, so good luck with that. Automatically now, as we used to say back in the day, you're starting on the back foot. So what you want to do is get something you go, oh, that's wonderful, that would be amazing. It excites you, it stretches you, and it doesn't automatically shut your brain down in terms of, oh my God, the gap between where I am and where I want to be is so big that I just feel daunted from the start, if that makes sense. So choose something that is a wonderful stretch in terms of what it is you desire. So there's room for that, whoa, and be excited about it. And also on some level, you kind of go, I might not have the exact how yet, but I know I can do it. And you have a sense of excitement as you go towards that. Cool. So thanks. I would like a deck. Was going to post links to Kay separately. That's cool. Post away. Actually, while I'm here, let me just, I'll see if I can, I'll find the link and I will post that. Ooh, right, here we go. Oh, let's see. I think that's the one. So that's the coaching cards. I believe, oh, that's a very long version. Can we have a shorter version? Bitly money breakthrough cards. There we go. So what I will do is I will post the link into the conversation thread. So, and if you're watching this as a replay, look in the conversation thread. That's the link where you can pick up the cards. So that is that one. So that was for S, and then we have Esther. Let me put these back in completely different places in the deck and then give them a good old shuffle. So let's see, Esther, what do we got? What are we saying? Ooh, it's got a weird thing to say. It feels like the cards are starting to loosen up now. That's a strange thing to say. Right. It's actually very nice also to read with my own cards, because I've been using other people's cards for such a long time. I first studied tarot about 22 years ago, using the traditional Rider-Waite deck back then. So it's lovely to do readings with my own deck, and it's been fun using the coaching cards deck as well. Right, Esther, this one stands up for you, so I'm going to go with that. Might choose another one, we'll see. What we got? Okay. Interesting. So here we go. This one is all about trust. So, trust. It says, do you trust money? Question mark. What does trust mean to you? Do you have trust in yourself and your ability to create and generate a living? If not, why? And so this one, the way I would say this, it comes down to the core of your being. And it might be that something has happened recently, for example, that has, oh, I got goosebumps now. Something has happened recently that has shocked you to the core. It's shaken your world up. It has possibly left you questioning yourself, maybe even questioning your judgment. Could you have done something differently? Could you have seen whatever it is coming? Is there something you maybe could have done differently? Yada, yada, yada. And that whole sense of introspection, while very good and can be very cathartic, you just want to make sure that it hasn't rocked the foundations of who you are. And so this is a card coming to say that you want to start building that back up again. And when you have a sense of what trust means to you, when you have a sense of trust in, and it's almost though, I guess in religious terms, oh God, sorry. Yeah, you know what I mean. You're not gonna know why I said, oh God, sorry, when you watch this recording. Anyway, it's just shut up, Marilyn, carry on. In religious terms, we might call it faith. And when someone has unshakable faith, it's almost, it doesn't matter in a way what's going on around them. Their faith is unshakable and strong. In my kind of sphere of the world, I might call that trusting almost that the universe has your back, or that there is some kind of divine guidance, or even going as far as saying there is a grand plan. Now, we might not be able to see that grand plan as yet. We might just be having a little peek, or, you know, to use the metaphor on this card, we might be just peeking, looking through the keyhole, to just see, you know, we just see that little bit of it, but there's light at the end of the tunnel. I think that's also one of the things that this card will be conveying this time round, because one of the things that stands out this time is the glimmer of light beyond that, what is today looking like a key and a lock. And so this is one, in terms of, if you haven't been doing the introspection, this is a good time to do it. And if you have been in that place and that space, it's maybe a case of then rebuilding your sense of trust and looking at, I'm going to say what you know. I think the way I say is what you know to be true for you. The way I'm going to put this is that there can almost be like a dual system, like duality going on. Let me think of an example, a way to say this. All right, let me give you an example for, let's say, something like photo reading. Somebody might come to photo reading and have a really strong sense of self. They know who they are and what they can do, and they have belief in themselves and their capabilities. But now when we're doing photo reading, another facet gets revealed, and they're sitting in that room going, oh my God, reading at 25,000 words per minute and photo reading a whole book in 5 minutes, and being able to remember and recall what you've read, and mind mapping and reading upside down, and and suddenly now a facet of themselves is revealed, and they're like, oh my God, can I do that? Do I think I have the ability? I know that other people can do it, and I've heard you talk about examples, but can I? How can I say that? At the core of their being, they have a sense of trust about things in the world that are already established and solid. However, there's a facet maybe moving in a new direction, forging a new path, maybe because it's the unknown. You don't have a total sense of trust in that aspect of yourself as yet. I think that's the way I'm going to put it. And I think I will just pull another, a second card as well. Cool. And I'm going to go with whatever is this time round at the bottom of the deck, and let's see what we've got with that one. Oh, okay. Alrighty, so show you this. Money genealogy is this card. So, you know, I was talking about a bit of introspection. We're kind of really wanting you to dig deep. So money genealogy, what it says on this card: where did you pick up your ideas, values, and beliefs about money? What are your family and relatives like with money? What do you know of your ancestry and genealogy? Are there any patterns? And so I would say the calling, got goosebumps again, the calling with this one is to, back in the day when I used to listen to pirate radio, there was a jingle, they'd say, where they were going to do like a retro set. Nowadays we call that like going back to the 80s, but there was a jingle that said, we're going to go back, way back into time, and then they're going to drop a tune from back in the day. This one feels like, with whatever it is that's been stirred up recently, you are being asked now, if you choose to, as Scylla would say, the decision is yours. On Blind Date, sorry, random reference. Da 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 da. And what Graham, that was Al Graham, used to do a little speck of all of the prospective suitors, and then say the decision is yours. So everything I'm talking about, and actually everything that I've said in all of the readings, we always talk about this on Tarot Tuesday. You're at choice. You got free will. You can hear what I say and go, yeah, whatever, thanks, Marilyn, but no thanks. Or you might go, actually, that's interesting, or I've been thinking about that. This one is, if you choose to, this is a time, this is a period of time where you are being called to go deep and dig deep and look at it from a deep visceral, ancestral, genealogical core of your being level. And if you pick up the mantle and take the challenge on, it will be hugely enlightening. It's almost like the thing, I have no idea what your work has been thus far up until now, but what I'm going to say is it may be that you've done a lot of stuff, and this, whatever you are going to embark on next in terms of getting deep and down and dirty with this, it's going to be one of the keys, not the only key. Life is a journey. It doesn't all happen in one big jam, but this is going to be one of the keys that almost opens up the next level. If you think of it in terms of gamification, we play, I say we, the raw we, because I'm not a gamer per se, but people play games, online games, either against themselves or others, normally to unlock the next level. So when Pac-Man came out and all that, it was about getting to the next level and getting to the next level. Now as the next level came, the stuff, the missiles and things that used to come down from the top of the screen got faster. But as your skill level increased, as your level of agility increased, it was almost like there's a scene in the Matrix where suddenly Neo gets it, and he's doing all the fighting with the ones in the glasses, and then suddenly Neo is just like going like this. And he's barely even looking. And that is the point where he knows he has next leveled things. So it feels as though you're moving into that sort of realm. However, to get there, the invitation is, which you can accept or reject, the invitation is to go, you know what? Now, what I'm going to say with this is look for patterns. And when you discover a pattern, your choice now is, do I just kind of go, yeah, whatever, I'm aware of it and I've done a bit of work on it, so it's all right and it's fine? Or do you go, let me look at you and let me go deep and let me see what is at the root of that particular chain of events? Like in therapeutic terms, if I was doing like a breakthrough session, we'd be looking at the root cause. We're saying, what's the root cause of this issue, such that when that is disconnected, everything else will disappear. And then we'll use whatever means, back in the day, that was, timeline therapy, hypnosis, NLP. There's a lot of stuff like Huna and Access and all the rest of it that goes into the mix now. But this is that kind of thing. Go and search for the root cause such that those patterns no longer exist in your life, in your psyche, in your world, because it's time to turn the key and next level this thing. So that's what I would say about that. Oh, hi Sunny. Sunny says, just chimed in 30 minutes in while getting ready. Heard one reading. It sounds fascinating so far. Love that money genealogy. Paula Holmes says, have to head out. Great listening. Thank you. We're listening to recordings. Congratulations with the cars. Thank you so much, Paula. That's cool. Lindsay says, I think I'd like to try a reading first. That's fab. You can, let me just see if I can, it's a very long one. I'm going to change the URL actually, because it's not just about Angel Tarot anymore. We've gone so much further than that. So what I can do, you can book a reading via my website. It's long, www.transformationstm.com/Angel Tarot Card Readings. That's a mouthful. I'm going to change that. And trance, as you can see on the screen as well, is TRANCE, as in hypnotic trance, formations, FORMATIONS, TM as in trademark, so transformationstm.com/Angel Tarot Card Readings, but I'll probably just change that to /tarot readings. So I will put that into the comments as well. So that's where you can book a reading. You can either book a 30-minute, 60-minute, or 90-minute reading. And if you're doing particularly with the 90-minute reading, that also includes a bit of Huna, access consciousness as well. So whatever it is we've talked about, whatever it is that's come up in the reading, there's also a bit of time built into those longer sessions where you can do some clearing work around that as well. And with regards to that, the way I like to do the readings is similar to how I've done them here, but I'll do whatever somebody wants. But oftentimes, as you guys who have taken part in the membership group in the monthly Tarot Tuesday sessions that we do, where every month we do Facebook Live just like this, and I do individuals for anyone in the group who'd like a reading, is I do cold readings. So nowadays people just put a yes in the thread that they would give permission for a reading. Occasionally someone says, oh, it's about XYZ, but a lot of the times we're just doing cold readings. Actually, And what I did, because it blows my mind every single month, and it has been for the last 2.5 years that I've been offering them to the group. And I put a blog together a little while ago because I'd done the readings. People are sometimes they're live. A lot of the times they're catching up with the replays. They will be today. And Tarot Tuesday comparison. And then people were watching the reading and chiming in. And it was that specific that with one of the readings, I said, you don't strike me as somebody who takes a nap, but what you might want to start doing is taking like an afternoon nap. That particular person came onto the reading late live and says, oh, I'm sorry I'm late. I was taking a nap. And she hadn't heard her reading. And at that point, I fell about laughing. And so as people were listening to the recording and then going, oh my God, what I did is I put a comparison together. So I've just put the link in. It's on my blog, marilyndevonish.com, but I've just put the link into the conversation thread. If you wanted to read the comparison with what I said what I say on Tarot Tuesday, and then what people come back with and explain about the cards, because it's always freakishly good. So those are the readings. So these readings today were for people who had, and if you're joining us a little bit later, I've just taken delivery of my new money oracle cards. So this is them here. Majorly fat stack. So that's what you're going to be getting in the post in your silver bag. So they are winging their way to you as we speak. And I think what I might do now is pull a card just overall in terms of, for those of you who've been here watching it live, thank you very much. Those of you who joined us for the recording, thank you also. And so for those who are drawn to the energy and vibe of this video, just going to pull an overall card in terms of just a little bit to think about. I'm going to go with that one there. A little bit to think about. Oh, okay. This is going to leave it. So it's leaving us with a practical exercise. Let me just write it down. So let me show that one to you. Wait, and coming a bit closer. I'm on a smaller screen now. So this is one of the practical exercises that you might want to have a play around with. It says, keep a money journal for at least the next 28 days. On the left, write what you are grateful for. On the right, write what you would, so write as in R-I-G-H-T, right hand side. On the right, what you would like to achieve in the present tense. Imagineer it and feel it. So this is an exercise that I created for the 28-day money breakthrough e-coaching program. So on the left hand side, it's real stuff. So for an example, so this is my one of the journals I use for the money stuff, both in terms of myself, and I'm designing the exercises for the money breakthrough program and coaching sessions for the Raising Your Money Vibration course and the 28-day e-coaching program, and also some of the stuff that we did in the membership group where we had a couple of month-long series based around HUNA and access and questions. So they're all in here. And I'd say choose a journal that you like the look of and that you like the feel of. So I like this one. It's shiny and gold. It's got the gemstones on the clasp. It feels really nice. And then what you're going to do is on the left-hand side, you're going to have real stuff, present tense, what you're happy about, what you're appreciative of. On the right hand side, this is future stuff. So it hasn't happened yet, but you're writing it in the present tense as though it has. And there's a little process, which for those of you who are taking part in the Raising Your Money Vibration video webinar series at the moment, we've got a few more months to run on that. We're going to be doing this one as an exercise. So I'm going to ask you, haven't asked you all yet, well, we mentioned it in the first one, but we're going to be doing this more consciously as an exercise. And then we're going to have a guided process to take the results of the Imagineering out into your future. So mixing that with a bit of future life progression. So that's all coming up for those of you who are on the Raising Your Money Vibration online global program. Sunny says, love the journal exercise, and I think it's time to do a fresh one, especially starting on the night of a full moon. Oh yes, giving it extra oomph. Brilliant idea. The moon has been looking fabulous all of this week as well, so I love that. Actually, while they're here, let me just very quickly nab a card, an overall card from the, oh my God, this feels so tiny now compared to and this, they just feel, this one feels really little. Right, so Oh, should have taken out my holding cards. So if one comes up, I'll just pick another. Right, so let's just have an overall card. Oh, just saw a holding card there as well. And there, that might be all of them. So let's pick one from the coaching cards. Let's have an overall card from there. Oh, I'm going to go with that one that is standing up to attention. And just see if there's anything else that would be good fun for us to do this month. Oh, okay. So show you that one. Oh, and how funny. I've written individual, how can we say it? A little note, blessing, incantation in every single one of the decks, because I'd done an extra card so that I could write you all a message. And joy pretty much appeared in all of your messages in terms of the cards I've just posted. So this is really nice in terms of what I was doing a couple of hours ago. So this one is called Joy in Action. It says, who or what brings you joy? And when did you last see them or experience it? So if it's been a little bit of a one, and with regards to things like money and finances, all the rest of it, depending on your circumstances, but oftentimes when I'm doing breakthrough work, it has a heavy energy around it. And when there are challenges in that area, it can suck the life and suck the joy out of you. And so one of the coaching exercises that I often give people, I'm saying, what do you love to do? What do you enjoy? And I'll say, come up with a load of stuff, and also make sure on the list something that you can do at no or low, LOW, so at no or low cost. And what you want to do is have a compendium of those things, such that if we come back to the first reading, let's say that one we did with Kay, where we're talking about overwhelm, if and when you get into a place in a space where you're feeling that, you go to one of the things that brings you a sense of joy, one of the things that brings you a sense of aliveness, and put that into action. And that in and of itself will change the energy and the dynamic of where you are. And when you are doing something joyful, it means then that you can actually think straight, and you can come back to it with fresh eyes. You can come back to it with a new perspective, and actually you can get yourself back into flow. So any of you, let's say, for example, who follow Esther and Jerry Hicks, well, Jerry's now the late Jerry, but I'm sure he's there in spirit. Yes, I've got goosebumps. He's like, yeah, of course I am. So Esther and Jerry Hicks, and they channel Abraham. One of the things they're often talking about is segment intending and doing something for 68 seconds. And the premise behind that is similar to what we talk about in terms of NLP break state. So when you do something that's a bit of a curveball in a breakthrough session, client might think you've slightly lost your mind, but what you're doing is putting a break state in there, and then when you come back to the problem area, we've broken it open a bit. So this is going to be exactly the same in the context of money and finances and any particular challenges you might be facing. This is going to be a much bigger than 68 seconds break state. But what that will do, it's now going to start putting you back into that place and that space where you can get more flow, and you can get more momentum, and you can get more movement, and you can get yourself better into alignment, and so that things then channel and flow more powerfully to you and through you. So I would definitely say that the joy card would be a really nice addition to that. Cool. So plus joy from the coaching deck. Brilliant, brilliant, brilliant. Right. Well, number one, I want to say thank you to everyone who took a chance and pre-ordered a deck, because without you, I wouldn't have bothered to do it, because it's like, if there's no demand for what you're offering, what's the point? So I'm really, really pleased and delighted that so many of you signed up and pre-ordered a deck. Really appreciate it. If you're joining us later, those are now in the postal system and the US mail system. So they will be winging their way to you as we speak, and you'll be receiving your cards in the post in terms of the Money Oracle cards. For those of you who are in the membership group, I think it's already now kind of been decided, because I was like, ooh, I was moving some stuff around and doing a bit of sorting out this week, and tucked in between two books was the Huna deck of cards, but pretty much just in as a deck. And so what we're going to be doing for Tarot Tuesday next month is we're going to do some Huna readings with those cards. But then what we'll do the month after that, for those of you who are in the membership group, and if you're interested in that, it's www.marilynsmembershipgroup.eventbrite.com. And Marilyn is Marilyn for November. So Marilyn's membership group.eventbrite.com. But what we'll do after the month after, so 2 months from now, if you want to, I'll do some readings with the money oracle cards in terms of Tarot Tuesday. And with the membership group, you can either just join for a month and you have a full month from whatever date you join. You can join as an annual member, or there is an option to be a lifetime member of that. So what I'll do a bit later on is I'll put a link to that in the thread as well. Cool. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you to everyone who has purchased a deck or will be purchasing a deck in the future. I really, really appreciate it. Let me know how you get on with the cards when you're using them for yourselves. And my intention is you can use them to actually sit and do a reading. It may be you want to choose a card for the day or for the week or for the month, whatever it might be. It may be you're sitting and you decide that you would really like a flash of inspiration in terms of next steps. What can I do? And with both of the decks, both the coaching cards deck and the money oracle deck, it's a combination. Some of them are coaching exercises. There are some meditations in here. There are some practical things that you might do, and everything in between. Of course, throw in a couple of spiritual cards as well. It'll be rude not to. So you can use this deck in a variety of ways. And there's a little card in here that just shares with you some thoughts and ideas about how you might want to use the deck. So let me know how you get on. Really, really lovely to have them out in the world. And yeah, I will catch you guys soon for next Tarot Tuesday in terms of doing readings for that. And if you want to book an individual reading, just head on over to my main website or drop me an email, marilyn@transformationstm.com. So thank you for watching. And if you know someone who might enjoy this reading and likes this kind of stuff and would benefit from it, please feel free to like and share the video, as that gives it a little bit more traction around the world and cyberspace as well. So thank you so much for watching and for taking part. And thank you to those who agreed to do a public reading. Catch you all later. Bye-bye.